right where it hit.
Yeah.
And of course, I mean, I'm not too concerned.
Honestly, you barely even notice it, but you can't notice it if you look.
It's noticeable
Like,
if you look.
Welcome to the Drink Pop Podcast. Collection of friends drinking soda, talking music, and generally being funny. I'm your host, Langansel.
I guess it just means that it gives my guitar more character.
I guess
That's just all the positive, you know. Always look on the bright side. Maybe that should be our topic for today.
Thanks, Drake.
Looking on the bright side of life.
That's true, especially with guitar flips. Like, honestly.
Especially with guitar flips.
Honestly, I think guitar flips are super cool.
They are.
Like, I think if you could learn to dance and do guitar flips,
Oh,
you're
so
like,
like-
you're already making bank
So
right
you're
now.
playing, you're like, you know, you're
I know.
playing and then
Like,
you go,
if there's a way you can flip it around and like keep dancing,
I mean, the thing is, like,
that's hot.
like I don't know about dancing for myself, but I can actually do a guitar flip. It's just that I haven't for obvious reasons.
Honestly, I know. Even I've been like, could I? I've tried just like one or two times, but the one or two like same incident. Like I tried to flip it around and the strap kept falling off. I caught it. And it fell on the
you
bed.
caught it.
And it was totally fine. But I thought the same thing. You almost need a strap that's like attached.
Yeah,
to your body.
there's straps that they're called strap locks.
Strap
so what you
locks.
can actually do is, you know, there's these pegs that you put your strap on,
Yes.
right? You replace those and it's a lock, like it just
Really?
like, screws down.
That is genius.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they're invented for that sole
Oh,
reason.
yeah. But I'll have to play around with that actually.
Yeah.
Because honestly, if we're like performing in Rexburg or something, I don't know, if we want to dance and flex a little bit, that'd be so cool.
Dude,
if we
do a
could, like,
guitar
go at
flip
it.
in Rexburg? Yeah, that'd be
Yes.
sick.
You'd have to, I guess use those. And maybe I'll have to go to Music Mike and
In
ask
fact,
if they have those.
In fact, part of the reason that I completely goofed up that intro with my bass
Yeah.
is because I know nothing about music theory or about like adaptive playing.
Yeah.
All I can do is I can like write power chord punk rock songs. And I mean, you know, that's it's got its own right in music. But like, considering that I can do it, you know, half decent songs without any knowledge of music theory or like how to build a song per se.
Yeah.
Like, Dallin, you're a genius when it comes to that. You're like, you've got this nice, you're soft, not software, but like sound and audio engineer, you know? You know how to adaptively play the drums to fill my songs,
Don't
right?
make me jealous, yeah.
Yeah, which is why I always come to you. You're an absolute genius when it comes to that.
Well, thanks, man.
Yeah, appreciate it.
I will say, I do like your guitar sound. Like, I know quite a bit. I say I know enough music theory to make a song, but I think you know a lot more about guitar than I do. Like, I know piano. And piano, you can do so much, but guitar, I only know if you can.
And what's nice
or
about
how to play if you.
And what's nice about the piano is that there's one key for every string, and that allows you. It like so when it comes to piano, I think it opens up possibilities, but it also limits others. Right? Like obviously on a piano, you can't strike a power chord like you can on a guitar, right? But with piano, you can do like elegant dances. I don't know how else to call them. Or you can do like cool backing tracks, like, you know, modern songs, they do that kind of thing. With guitar, you know, of course it's gone through a couple phases. Of course, the guitar used to actually be like a backing instrument, right? But at the same time, it had the melody of all the instruments, and then of course there was the vocals over that. And it became like a solo instrument, right? So it'd go from backing to solo, you know, and everybody...
especially in like 60s, 70s, became like a leading instrument.
Oh, yeah. Especially, you know, and going up to the 80s.
Yes.
And then it started fading out in the 90s, right? That's when guitar solos started. I guess, of course, my ideas on music history might flow differently than others.
Oh, of course, everyone does. Everyone comes from a different perspective.
Because, of course, when it comes to music history, I look at, like, the West Bay, California punk rock scene.
Yes.
And that's kind of what I really like to focus on, because Green Day is my favorite band. If you guys... Anybody that's smart out there will recognize that all the bass stuff that I played, you know, earlier, all Green Day songs.
Obviously.
All of them.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's true. Like, I think that's fascinating that you know more about that, because, you know, even on my end, funk and jazz is where it's at.
I
can talk about jazz for forever with California.
It's cool.
Awesome. It's
Oh yeah.
But punk rock, I honestly couldn't tell you anything other than that Green Day's cool.
Day's cool. You know what? That's respectable.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know a lot about jazz history.
Yeah.
But I do like the blues quite a bit, which I know they're semi-related.
Oh, of course.
Right?
Yeah, like everything's related.
And of course, what's awesome about the blues is that that's actually where the origins of rock originated. You know. And that's kind of what I care about, because that's what I like to play and that's what I like to listen to a lot.
Who's your favorite rock artist that isn't from the modern day? Like,
so I guess you can't consider like Green Day.
No, it's not. I'm just interested.
I mean, because I don't know, because like even like the old guys that like you'd say like started it, like Metallica's going on a tour this year.
It's true.
You know, and of course they're not rock. But you know they're like
people I think classify them as such.
Yeah, they're a little more metal, Metallica, but
yeah,
you know, I guess maybe if you wouldn't consider him rock, but like B.B. King.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
cool.
I'd
say because he was obviously a paramount bass player and also blues guy. I guess you could also go to like the beginnings of like the punk sound. Like you could go to the Kinks too. You know?
Kinks are good.
Yeah, and of course there's some of the people that really started to get that song or that style going, and it's actually really cool because the history behind like the distorted sound that you get in rock and roll these days, what they do is they'd actually, like those early artists, they wanted that like crazy like sort of punch sound, right?
Yeah, of
and what they would do is they'd take their amps, razor blades, and cut it up so that it would like get that distorted sound.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah. So like,
honestly, I know B.B. King especially, like he's very much transformative, or like an imperative part of like rock.
Yeah,
music.
he's very.
I don't know if you've seen that video where he's like the band has like a malfunction or something. Just him on the stage with a guitar for the audience.
Oh yeah.
He just goes crazy.
Yeah, he just goes crazy. Yeah,
I'll have to show that to you because honestly, it's fascinating.
Yeah,
to watch.
B.B. King's pretty crazy. You know, the Kinks. Yeah, but you know, just like that stage is super fascinating, and I like how it led into the 80s punk rock movement because, you know, punk rock was just like the craze back in the day. Like everybody loved it, and that's partly why Green Day blew up. Like when the Dookie album came out, right?
Yes.
Of course, the album before that, Kerplunk, it started getting some fame behind it, right? And so Green Day had a small, solid fan base. Then Dookie came out, and the world just blew up, basically. Like, everybody wanted a Dookie. And what's awesome about that is that Lookout Records, that was the people like Green Day was signed with that time, sold out. Like, just completely sold out of Dookie. And they made more, sold out again, you know. Dookie's like a platinum album now, right?
Yes.
So it's like being able to, you know, third album, like worldwide fame, right? Like, how are you going to deal with that? And it's so cool that Green Day especially, like, even though they reached their peak back in the day, right? They're able to maintain that complete constant energy. You know, they released like American Idiot, which blew up too. 21st Century Breakdown. You know, just all these. They're able to maintain that progress. I guess you could say.
No, yeah. I think one of the. I can't remember who said it, but one of the most. I think fascinating quotes that I've heard is with successful artists, one of the biggest ways to tell if they're successful is they can make other people money. Like, I'd agree. Watching Dookie's success, and more importantly, the success of the record company that released it, is crazy. I think that's one of the main reasons they became so successful.
And
just
of course
because they made the record company tons of money with Dookie.
Yeah. So Lookout Records obviously got tons of money with that, but they right after that album, like all the big record companies wanted Green Day, right? Of course, and so I think, I don't remember correctly, but I think it was a match between Reprise Records, which was obviously a Warner company, and I think it was the IBM record company, which I think is under Sony or something. I don't know. Don't quote me on the second one. Don't quote me on the second one. But you know, and they both were willing to pour so much money into it, and so Green Day just got to be like, well, which one do we want? Of course, they went with Reprise. You know, not that it really mattered, but that really, if Dookie shoved them like into the spotlight, then signing with Warner is like putting 3 more spotlights on them.
Oh,
like, they're able to just have this giant fan base now, only because of the record company, right? So, and of course, being able to maintain that and keep it going, it's quite successful of them.
I would agree.
Yeah.
No. We'll be back after this break. We'll call that good. What are they called? The little caps for the straps that keep them on?
Oh, locking straps.
Locking straps. We'll call them up.
Oh, see if they'll sponsor us.
Yeah. It's still cooking.
Yeah. I feel bad that you have to edit this later. You know, because obviously, like, your podcasts are like 3 minutes long. You're not gonna keep it all in. Unless it's a special episode.
Yeah, I say it's special.
Special episode.
Yeah, we'll do us and Will as a special episode. Maybe we'll eventually make it longer and longer.
Yeah,
I just want them to be fun and entertaining. I feel like at a certain point, it's just like, you know.
Yeah. I
know we recorded maybe like 20 minutes of stuff.
And then you shortened it down to 3?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Honestly, just because it was like, even talking to the setting like a few samples and demos, he was like, yeah, that's not entertaining. So it just became shorter and shorter, and even added that little like western bit at the end of it, just to spice it up.
That's quite interesting.
So hopefully,
you're talented when it comes to that kind of like guitar stuff.
He is.
But kind of has weak fingers, you know. You had to put duct tape around his finger to play the bass the way that I wanted him to, right?
Yeah.
Honestly.
No, even then he needed the pick.
Yeah. I mean, okay. So it's controversial to play bass with a pick, and especially if you follow people like Davey 504.
Yes.
Right? He's started to become the biggest. He's actually, I'm pretty sure at this point he is the most subscribed Italian YouTuber in the world right now. Yeah, and if he's not the first, he's the second, guaranteed.
That's awesome.
And you know, he makes his whole thing is bass guitar, right? And he is a mastermind when it comes to that stuff. Like, he's an absolute genius.
Yeah.
and you know, he's very talented with a whole bunch of different techniques. He can, you know, slap the bass, finger style, tapping. He's got it all, harmonics, right? And he can just like compose songs like that. And it's just crazy.
That's cool.
And his joke is that it is illegal to play bass with a pick.
Really?
Yeah.
Just because it just changes.
Just because it's different. Yeah. It's just, you know, because
Yeah.
And
I think it has to do even just like how you're taught. Like, going from one to the other is different and it's hard. But like when you think of other people, like, I don't know if Jimi Hendrix used a guitar pick, did he?
Yeah, he did.
I think he did. But it's just how he was taught. Like, same with the Italian guy. Like, if he wasn't taught with a guitar pick, I'd imagine him going and trying to use a guitar pick would almost slow him down. Especially if he is so genius with bass.
Well, actually, the thing is, he even uses picks.
Oh, he does?
Sometimes in some of his songs, like, just to showcase that, because he's an absolute, like, genius when it comes to bass. He can even play with a pick, and then he's like, flicks it out of the camera, and then continues playing without it. I need to pick that up, but... And so it's like, he's quite funny.
Welcome back from the break. My name's Langansel. This is my good friend Austin Bitsoy on the show with us. We were talking about Green Day's third album, Dookie.
Yeah.
And how it made a ton of money for the record companies that released it.
For Lookout Records.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was super awesome. It was super tight.
You know what's crazy? Just thinking again about Dookie.
Yeah. Is
that, you know, obviously Green Day's a punk rock band, right? And the punk rock origins, especially at that time, is the Gilman. Okay? Yeah. It's just this little, like, it's like a little basement place, you know, and basically people pay to go in and then they watch like really small bands play, right? And so Green Day was picking up a lot of notoriety there for being like great, and they released Dookie, and obviously since Dookie became like so like crazy popular, people at the Gilman started hating Green Day because they weren't a small band anymore. And they were seen as quote-unquote sellouts.
Yeah.
Just because they wanted to sign with a bigger company because they had success, right? And of course, you know, there's the argument on both sides, and I can see both sides, but they were actually banned at playing from the Gilman anymore, which is pretty crazy, yeah.
What were Green Day's thoughts on the Gilman? Like, were they hating on it as well?
Well, basically, Green Day left it as peacefully as possible. Obviously, they weren't welcome back, and they understood that, but at the same time, they're like, we're going to go do our own way, you know, we're going to go find our own success, obviously, since we're signed on with this big Reprise Records, right?
Yeah.
And in fact, actually, Green Day's album that came a little while after, Insomniac, is basically all touching on that, right? You know, people were trying to see Green Day as like, oh, you're sellouts, you're put into the mainstream media, you're soft, you know, you're not real punk rock. Yeah. And so Green Day made Insomniac under that giant, like, company, and it's some of the, like, hardest songs you'll ever find. They're pretty crazy.
That's it. I think some of the most fascinating works are artists that feel like they have to prove something.
Yeah.
Like, I know Green Day was one of those bands. Even Childish Gambino, when he came out with his first album, it was a rap album, but he was a wuss. Like, I don't know, he tried to sell this archetype of him being this nerdy guy into, like, Minecraft or even, like, Star Wars and Star Trek and everything, while rapping these heavy bars, and just came out with, like, this awkward mix of, like, not even teenage angst, but, like, teenage angst, you know?
Yeah.
So, the next album that came after that, he had to, like, put all of that and, like, put it to the test a little bit. Just like Green Day, they have to challenge themselves and kind of prove to everybody that, actually we can make hard rock songs. We're not just sellouts or anything. We can actually make stuff that you came to see us in the beginning for, you know? So when he came out with, like, Because the Internet, it totally blew people's minds and changed their perspective. And if anything, I'd imagine the same with Green Day. Made them a better band because of it.
Yeah, and you know what's, it's really funny because Insomniac, obviously, their songs are super hard, but they're also super simple, which is one of the core elements of, like, punk rock.
Yeah.
Like, one of my favorite songs is, I forgot what it's called now.
Huh?
I forgot what it's called. And that's the entire song. That's
really?
all it is. Yep.
Just simple as
just that. Of course, like, sometimes it gets changed up. It's like... You know, like, sort of messy guitar playing, right?
Yeah.
But also, like, during, like, the chorus, it goes... Brain Stew. That's what it's called.
Yeah, Brain Stew.
Yeah. And, like, you know, with a title like that, it's like, whoa, like, Brain Stew? Like, what? You know, it's very confusing. And it's about having insomnia.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, of course, the album Insomniac, right? It all ties in.
Yeah.
And, you know, some of the lyrics are like, my eyes feel like they're going to bleed. You know, like, some of the stuff that they say is dark.
It is. But I think they have to. Because they're trying to prove themselves.
They have to prove themselves at that point. And they really did.
I know same with Childish Gambino. Like, if you listen to his most recent work, I think this may be like one swear word. One naughty word.
Yeah.
But if you go back to, like, the album that he had to prove himself, it's probably one of the darkest albums I've ever heard.
It's just, like, crazy.
Because, they have to prove themselves. Which I think even makes it a bit more fascinating and interesting than anything they've done before.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and
even before Dookie.
Of course, like, artist evolution, right?
Oh, it is. Actually, me talking about that in the car. Like, I don't know if you've heard Eminem's new album.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I haven't heard about it.
No,
I used to be...
Honestly, it sucks. Don't listen to it.
It sucks.
Honestly, viewers, Eminem's new album, we're going to date it and say it's January 18th, 2020. Don't listen to it. Not at all. Like, we were here when it just came out and it sucks.
Today's the 20th.
Ready?
Why?
It's because he doesn't grow with his audience. Because they know Green Day does that. Childish Gambino does that. I think any successful artist can do that. Eminem is still talking about the same lyrics he's been singing since early 2000s.
And of course, like back then, like that was the
It was cool. That was cool stuff.
Will the real Slim Shady please stand up? I repeat, will the real Slim Shady please stand up?
I'll stand up.
We're gonna have a problem here.
He's married now. He has kids now. He has a beard now. And it's cool that he still can talk about that. Maybe some fans enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I know me just listening to the first couple of songs, it's like, where's your growth, man?
It's like,
why don't you show something different and new?
I've heard this like so many times.
Honestly.
And you know what? Green Day, I think they are the embodiment of punk rock for that sole reason, for their change, right? Like obviously, people back when Dookie came out, they're like, oh, we want another one of those, right?
Oh, of course.
And that's the mainstream media. But instead, Green Day's like, nah, we're gonna make it as hard and as dark as possible, right? Like within our limits. And then they're like, some people are like, oh, we want another one of those, and it's like, then Green Day comes out with like Warning, their album, and then, they always catch you by surprise, right? And, like, when everybody thought they had Green Day figured out, they're like, oh, we just want these punk rock songs, whatever. Green Day comes out with a rock opera, American Idiot, right? Instead of just any punk rock songs, they come out with an entire album story. And in fact, on top of that, they got it in Broadway.
Yeah.
Like, would you ever think that a punk rock artist would have their own Broadway production?
No, not at all.
Right?
But I think that does show growth.
That shows a lot of growth.
Dang straight.
Especially, like, this is before American Idiot, but Nimrod, people are like, oh, we want, like, hard, dark Green Day. They come out with Good Riddance, Time of Your Life.
Yeah.
An acoustic ballad. Like, they're all over the place, which is amazing. They've mastered so many different genres of music that their fans, or that their base is just extended so much. And that's why they've maintained their popularity and so forth.
Yeah.
And whatnot.
I totally agree, actually.
Yeah.
Are they coming out with another album, though?
They are.
Yeah.
And it is called Father of All. And same story with this album, right? Like in 2016, they came out with Revolution Radio. It was a little more mainstream songs, but of course it kept those basic elements of punk in it. And nobody thought Green Day would come out with something like that because Billy Joe Armstrong himself had said, like, there's this term going around, pop punk, right?
Yes.
And it's like basically like only halfway there punk, right? And so Billy Joe Armstrong's like, oh, we should never use that term because, like, it doesn't exist. There is no pop punk. And then he comes out with an album that's tailored like that. I wouldn't say it is pop punk, but maybe like light punk, mainstream, a little bit more like that. And so people are like, wait, what? Then this album, they're basically going AWOL, right? Like if you've ever heard the classic Green Day stuff, like She or like Animus Sleepless, or just all their crazy songs, right? Their classic stuff, like the Dookie album, or like Jesus of Suburbia, the American Idiot stuff. They are going AWOL from all of it. They somehow found like a new sound that they're completely driving with that album, right?
Yeah.
It's just insane that they are able, since 1986 is when they first started, right? Through those, over 20 years, 30 something years now, right? They're still able to find a new sound and drive it.
Yeah. I think not a lot of artists can say they control that much of the market.
Oh, yeah.
Especially after 20 years. Like, if you think of all the artists that have come and gone since then.
Oh, yeah.
It's fascinating.
It's crazy. Because, yeah, it's been 33 years now.
Yeah. You even think about how the music industry's changed as well.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
it's crazy.
It is crazy. So that's cool that they're coming out with that pop sound too. It shows that they're changing.
Like, shows that they're able to evolve.
Yeah, able to
evolve.
Honestly, I think I don't know if this is the best example, but I know one meme we were talking about in the car was Brendan Urie. Yeah, because no, think about it. Think about his beginning works, like.
Like you have crap. What's the song? Ba-da-bum, ba-dum, ba-da-bum.
Yeah. His beginning albums versus like Death of a Bachelor. His most recent one. It's slowly evolving. Yeah. And he's changing with the market too. Because he started very much in like a punk rock kind of scene, like early 2000s punk rock almost. But as he grows, and he realizes the market is changing as well, it's become more into like a pop rock, or even just straight up pop mainstream.
Yeah, more mainstream. Because of course you compare like, nicotine.
Nicotine.
Right? Yeah, you're worse than nicotine. Ba, 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 ba. I think that's a great guitar part. Like, it is. And it's very mainstream.
It is. I think Death of the Bachelor kind of was that turning point for us, too.
And Death of the Bachelor is kind of the turning point where you go back even earlier than that. You know, it's like, there's complete evolution, which is absolutely...
Thank you for listening. For those who enjoyed this podcast, catch up with free episodes on YouTube. One of the best ways you can support Drink Pop Podcast is by following on our socials and sharing with others who might enjoy. Till next time, stay poppin', and we'll catch you next episode.